we go. First video on this channel. I hope it goes well. Hope I don't have to edit out too many fuck-ups. And this video is going to be on the deconstruction of a channel Balisong, such as the 42, very popular Balisong. Now, channel construction Balisongs aren't too common, but there's a lot of specifics in taking them apart, and there aren't a lot of videos on it, so I thought I'd do a video on it to kick off this channel, since there are some specifics you need to know as compared to a sandwich style Balisong. Alright, so what you're going to need, I have to use one hand here, channel style Balisong. It's probably the first thing that you want. Secondly, some toilet paper for when you gotta shit, but also you're gonna be cleaning up your blade with this. You might get some Loctite on it and shit. You're gonna want some isopropyl alcohol. Higher the percentage, the better it is. Higher percentage, the better is at cleaning stuff. 70's not that great. I recommend like 90 something. These are sweet. This is the Benchmade Blue Box, and I recommend this. You might be able to buy this on Amazon for like 20 bucks. It's a little overpriced for a couple of Torx screws, but almost every Balisong uses Torx screw bits, and this has got T6, T8, and T10, so you'll pretty much be able to take apart any Balisong. Not every Balisong, most Balisongs. You're going to want some lubricant for your washers. It should be self-explanatory, so your knife glides. And then lastly, some Loctite blue removable thread locker. You don't want red because that's basically super glue that's hard to get off. Blue is easier to get off if you need to take it apart for any reason, which you probably will do. I think that's everything. Oh, and also, Big Boss Cup. That'll help you take apart your Balisong too. That's everything. I'm gonna go ahead and set the fucking camera down. Now, if you want your butterfly knife to be as smooth as this, very smooth, there's no clanking, play is good, then you're going to have to do exactly what I tell you right now, and we're going to ruin this perfect play Balisong just for a YouTube video. So, I'm pretty sure the Benchmade 42 uses T8s for its pivot screws. It just says T8 on it. I don't really need to focus that because I'm sure you believe me. So the blue box comes with this little thing. You basically just take the screw bit, magnetizes in there, and then there you go, you got yourself a mini screwdriver. Alright, so I forgot that this 42 is a little messed up. These pins are supposed to be pressure fit, which means you can only knock them out if you have a hammer. But this pin in particular is not pressure fit. I don't know if someone messed it up, the previous owner. So I gotta use some gloves to push it in and make sure it doesn't turn as I spin the screw. Alright, so I'm here in post. I was a huge dingus, and the music got too loud, so you couldn't really hear my voice. So I'm gonna have to record this after I recorded the video. In this scene, I've basically taken off the second screw and I'm uncapping the alcohol. What you want to do with the alcohol is take the cap from the alcohol, fill a reservoir. What you're going to want to be doing is put all the screws into this cap of alcohol. It's going to clean up the screws, it's going to get all the Loctite and lubricant off of them because the Loctite will not stick if there's any foreign objects on the screws. Dropped it in the alcohol. Yup. I cut because I fucked up. Here I am, I'm taking out the second screw. Alright, so I put the second screw into the alcohol and I just pulled the pivot out. This pivot is going to be full of stuff you don't want. Old Loctite that's not useful anymore, and old lubricant. So you're just going to want to throw it into that cap. It's going to clean it up. Pop the titanium handle off. The washers might fly away. Don't lose the washers. Very small and really hard to find if you lose them in the carpet. Alright, another cut because I messed up. So this is a washer. Yeah. Phosphorus bronze, I think. aftermarket washers, because aftermarket washers are better than the original steel washers from the 2003 Benchmades. I do recommend you buy these if you want a very smooth butterfly knife. You can drop these in the alcohol if you want, but mine were pretty clean, so I had no reason to have to dry them off again. Just kept them on the paper towel. I don't take the second handle off because the pivot is pressure fit, and I didn't want to accidentally strip the pivot, have to get our hammer out, knock that thing out. This is where your Q-tips are going to become helpful. You're going to want to put a little bit of alcohol off of them, but then dry them off a little bit, because you don't want to get a bunch of alcohol on your blade. You're going to want to be rubbing off all of the extra lubricant and Loctite that's on your blade, left over from the washers. You want your blade to be as clean and smooth as possible. As you can see, you get a lot of gunk on the Q-tip, and you're going to dry it off, obviously, because you don't want a wet blade. That would be really bad. Can't tell I'm really bored. I'm very bored. That's me rubbing my blade because that's really fun to just rub it for no reason. Alright, so I'm getting the pivot back out of the screw cap. I think that's the pivot. I think I got the pivot first. Yeah, I did. Alright, so I try to stick a Q-tip in it because I'm stupid, and then I reach for the toothpick. You're going to want to have a toothpick to pick anything out of your pivot that you don't want, because the alcohol probably just loosen up the Loctite, and you're going to pick out anything that you don't want. Little pieces of Loctite are going to be flying out, just throw them on the ground. Someone can vacuum them up later. I don't feel like throwing them out. I dry it off with some toilet paper. It's nice to make a tiny little spike and just dip it in there. It's going to dry it off perfectly, get into all the threads. There's another cut because I messed up. Another cut because I messed up. With that dried off, I'm going to get another screw. Basically the same exact thing, except you got the male part of the pivot now. Dry it off, use a toothpick to pick out any of the excess Loctite that you don't want. Same thing as a pivot, just a lot easier. How long does it take me to fucking get the gook out of these? Jesus Christ. Alright, at this point the audio gets better, so goodbye. Now what are we going to do with these two washers? To make these glide as smooth as fucking butter, you're going to want to get your knife. Is that right there, I guess? I don't know. No, we're not going to want to get your knife yet. Fuck that. Minus that step. Get your washers. Get your dry lube. I really recommend this because the needle tip is amazing. It lets you put the lube in exactly where you want it to be. So I'm going to put a dab on this so that it surrounds the entire washer. I guess 2 dabs. So now this entire washer is completely surrounded with lubricant. And because of the water tension of the lubricant, you can simply tap it onto the Balisong and it's going to stick there. Perfect. No fuss. This part's kind of difficult because these pieces are so tiny. Alright, so you got both washers on, lubed up. Lube it up, brother. Brother! Oh shit. I have to relube this one. So we got our 2 lubed washers on. Lube this up a little bit, just in case it spins when it shouldn't. It'll also be lubed up. And it'll apply no force, and you'll have a nice smooth belly flat knife. This is the hard part. Hardest part of the entire thing, and it's pretty easy. Alright, so we got the pin in. You gotta make sure you get the pin in while the washers are still in place. Turn that down a little bit. Because obviously you don't want the washer to be out of place. I don't even have to say that, that's really fucking obvious. Come on, buddy. Shit. I hate this part. This is the worst part. Alright, so I got the washer back in and the pin back in. Perfect. Here comes the next part. The lock tightening. Actually, I still have another screw. Dry that screw off with a little bit of toilet paper. Why? Why? Alright, Loctite process. Easiest part. Get your Loctite. Pretty easy so far, right? You need What I like to do is actually let it dribble down the side. It looks like I messed that up, but I actually didn't. And what I do is I tap the screw onto the Loctite. And I like the Loctite to just get down maybe like 3 or 4 threads, and that's it. And then this part's really important. Pay attention. Make sure it glides straight down into the screw socket, and make sure you don't get any Loctite on the washer or any part like that, or else you're going to basically just glue the knife to itself and it's not going to spin that well. Screw in pretty hard, because this is a channel to construction. You're not going to squeeze the handles together too hard, so you don't got to worry about that. One thing to make sure you didn't screw it in too hard is that I screwed it in too hard. This should be able to move freely without the blade moving as well. So I'm going to unscrew that just a tiny bit. Still doing it, not good enough. Tiny bit more. So this is a good angle. See? Blade's not moving anymore, but the handle's moving freely. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. Alright, so now on the next screw. This screw is a pain in the ass, but it's basically the same exact process. Same exact process, no different. Screw it in hard. Basically as hard as you can, and then you make sure it's not too tight. If it's too tight, so let's test it. It's actually perfect. Blade's not moving, but the hand is moving. Then you check the play, you make sure that the play is good. And I don't know about you, but that plays pretty damn good for a 10-year-old, hell, this thing isn't even 10 years old, this thing's like 12 years old. For a 12-year-old Benchmade, that's not bad at all. So just you want to screw these in just a little bit more. Make sure it's good. Perfect. Alright. Now this is the worst part about tuning up your entire knife. You're not going to be able to use this for 24 hours. It takes 24 hours for the Loctite to cure, and you are not going to want to flip it during that time. Trust me, I've done it before. It just completely unbinds the Loctite. Everything you just did, the entire 30 minutes put into your knife, is completely useless. You got to redo it. That is basically how you tune up a channel style Balisong. Hold on, let me get a better. Wow, this is really professional, isn't it? So that's how you do that. Alright, well, I hope you guys like this guide. I'm going to be making another one on my my replicant right there, which is a sandwich style Balisong with Zen pins. So look forward to that in a week or two. Alright, see you later.